morning. Good to have you along for the ride. Karen is in the building. Good morning, Karen. How are you? Kim is in the building. Y'all talk to me in the chat. I know y'all running around trying to get your teeth brushed, your head did, nails did, everything did, getting them kids together. I know. But a brother like to know that he ain't in here by himself with a bunch of passive listeners. I know y'all laughing at me. Let's go. We got a great day in store for you guys. I really want to talk about something. I sent it to the mods in the back channels on IG. But Charlemagne the God sat down with Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I was getting my coffee this morning. And I ran across this reel that messed me up. And T.D. Jakes said, most people don't have a business, they have a hustle. And I was like, ooh. Now, you have to understand a little bit about T.D. Jakes' background. Long before the Potter's House, he was pastoring a church, a very, very tiny church in Charleston, West Virginia. And a lot of people don't remember this, but Woman Thou Art Loose was a sermon long before it was a book, long before it was a movement, and long before he went to Dallas, long before he became what we know as T.D. Jakes, right? And so what I learned, y'all, was that this man had about 14 businesses. He had a cleaning service in West Virginia. He was doing all the things. You name it, he did it. And if he didn't do it, his family did it. So when we see him blow up as a pastor and a man of God in that respect, and then he begins to launch entities. I'm not talking businesses. I'm talking about things that will last long after he's gone. I think he has a voice at the table. I kind of think he does. So the question of the day is, do you have a hustle or do you have a business? And there's no shame here. Now, this is not about shame at all. But if you want the hustle to become a business, what must you do? What do you do to get the hustle? Now, let me define hustle really quickly. And we're starting out the gate. And I know I'm giving it before we introduce everybody, and we're going to get to that part. But I just want to set the tone so that after we do the morning introductions and we find out how everybody's evening was, we're coming right back here before we go to the podcast today. Because I think that this is important. It ties so much into what we were talking about yesterday. So much into this idea of embracing where you are, sitting in it long enough to build the foundation for you to launch to the next. And listen, you're not now just launching, you're evolving into it. See, a lot of us get caught up with the launch and not the evolution. I learned a long time ago when we started our business, if I created it right, I would not ever chase a client, ever. If I created it right, I would never chase writing another book, getting another book out. That's one of the reasons why I'm grateful that we never went with a major publisher, because they are a business that is about you giving them the next book. Like if you're an artist and you're on a label, it's okay, what's the next album? What you working on? Like we need to sell something. And it doesn't give you the time to sit in it. Shanika talks about that all the time. And I don't know if it's 56, about to be 57 in about 2 weeks. I don't know if it is wisdom because I didn't have my tail handed to me so many times over the years that I've just learned my lesson. But I'm not about hustling no more, y'all. And I know this is going to be Rocky's jam. Check the IG back channels. I sent this to all the mods because it ties so much in to what we talked about. But when T.D. Jakes said what he said with Charlemagne the God, and maybe some of you guys have seen it, I think it's an older interview, but they put it up and I just was like, that is so important. So he basically said, listen, a hustle is when your hands are tied to the thing and you're doing everything. That's his definition of a hustle. And that's why he was able to say most business owners, quote in air quotes, they don't have a business, they have a hustle. Because here's the question you have to ask. If you go down, does the business continue? Can you take a mecation and the business continue? Can you go on a 6-week hiatus to move from one country to another and you still do business, right? This is not a knock. This is not to shame. I need everybody to understand this. This is to help us embrace what does it take to evolve. We're going to help you guys throughout the rest of the show today. I just wanted to set the tone a little bit. Some of you guys may have just popped in late, like, what is Coach on at 7 minutes after the hour? Dear Jesus, we haven't even introduced everybody in the room yet. He's woke on 3 sips of coffee, and I didn't get a good night's sleep. It's because I'm in a different space, y'all. I'm clear as a bell these days. And I'm telling you right now, we've got to do different. So let's run it back. Let's run it back real quick. Let's run it back. And then let's get the introductions out the way. Just thought I'd open up with a brief listen, we finishing strong around here, Christine. Stop laughing. Great morning, Christine. How was your evening, mama?
Good morning. I had an interesting evening. Wasn't feeling the best. It's called getting older and still being a woman. So, but anyway, I got through it and I am here. I am still here.
Yeah.
Coach, how you going to start off the morning like that? I had 1 sip of coffee.
Listen, I had 3.
And I'm like, whoa. Yeah, what's interesting is, Coach, and I won't go into the topic. I'll wait after you say hi to everybody else. But I will say this. I thought about that yesterday. Literally enrolled, I think, 6 students in a matter of 30, maybe 45 minutes yesterday. The season starts next week. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? Definitely not a hustle. I'll yield.
I love it. I love it. No, and again, this is so not a knock. If you guys are feeling beat up in here, you're in the wrong room. You should feel really encouraged that somebody is willing to chime in and help build out what this could look like for you. But we're going to get to that. The question of the day today will be, do you have a hustle or do you have a business? If you have a hustle and you want a business, what does it take for you to turn it into a business? That's what we're going to kind of frame up today. And we're going to take that subject anywhere the mods want to go with it. We're going to have a little fun, but we're going around the room, checking in on everybody, find out how their evening was. Cherie, you in the building, Grand Rising.
Good morning. Good morning, morning show. Good morning to everybody listening and everybody viewing us today. I didn't have a good evening last night either. I had a great evening. Let me say that. Had a great evening. We met with the Maps Relationship Academy last night with our couples and our parents, and so that was great. But I did not sleep well last night. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I didn't have a good night's sleep, but I'm here. I'm like, Christine, I'm still here. So, hey, no complaints.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The Rock Master's in the building. I'm guessing you are on a school run, Rock. Are you in the drop off line? Can you talk? How was your evening, lady?
I just kicked her out. These parents don't know how to drive. Drop your kids off and go. You don't have to watch them walk to the door. Not the door. Y'all want to watch them walk to the door and go through the door before you drive off. These people are ridiculous.
Listen.
Morning.
Well, sometimes they don't make it to the door. It depends on your child. So there's that. Good morning, Rocky.
Good morning. My evening was good. I did a thing, and I think Christine will be proud of me. I did a thing where, and I kind of talked about it mildly yesterday, where I only put 3 things on my task list, and I will complete those 3 things, and then I'm off the rest of the day. Versus me hustling, coach. So I actually didn't make it to my 3 days. My 3 things, I only made it to 2 of them, but I'll just move that one up to number 1 and add additional 2, and then move down the pipeline. And I also, one step towards my goal for the 100 days, I got a system, another system called Honeybook. I know y'all are familiar, to help me manage my onboarding process. And I got an onboarding system to where I don't have to hop on discovery calls, because I was doing a lot of discovery calls, coach. I don't have to hop on a discovery call unless they do certain things within the system. So did that, and then helped set Christine up for her challenge, which you all need to sign up for. And that was it. It was a great evening. Oh, last thing. Y'all, I got hit in the head by my college degree at like 3 a.m. in the morning. So my college degree is placed above my bed. So when I go to bed at night, I can get encouraged. That thing magically jumped off the wall and landed on the corner in my temple. So I think it's time for me to get back into my master's so I can complete my master's degree. I took it as a sign.
Wow. I'm just glad it ain't a sign that we're not, at a planning a funeral right now. It jumped off the wall. Wow. It might be a sign, Rocky, to put on another wall where you can say, not so close to the
fighting air.
I love it. I absolutely love it. No, speaking of HoneyBook, Jesse Gary will be on for the We All Need Some Help Wednesday Lunch and Learn today for the MMC community. I posted that within our community about 2 days ago. Y'all, do yourself a favor and make sure that you pull up. Jessie is an incredible trainer. She is an incredible teacher, and she's going to be on stage. That was a relationship that I met through Rocky. That's Rocky's friend, and she's a HoneyBook specialist. And so for all of you service-based businesses, it's a great CRM for you, and does so many things. And she's a certified trainer in it. So she's going to really help us unpack some different ways of identifying the right kinds of, relationship management systems and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be a whole thing. Rocky, I'm excited that that you're evolving, mama. I love it. Let's go. Let me reset before we go to John real quick. It's 6:14, 14 minutes after 6 o'clock here in Panama City, Panama. It's 14 minutes after the hour where you are. Do me a favor, put it in the chat, city and state. We'll go to that in a moment. Temperature maybe in the city, state, city, country that you live in. Love to know about it. John showed you in the building. How was your evening, sir? Great quick call that we had yesterday.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My evening was on par as it normally is. Went to go hang out with two of my church members, the pastor's daughter, middle daughter, and my good friend, his daughter. They both play volleyball on opposing teams. So we came out and celebrated them last night. Nadia, Embry, and Reagan, May got to hang out with the other people from my church and leadership and just friends. Hung out the volleyball court. Find it fantastic. At the same time, I was on my Be Free call with my group of men. We talking about the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life, and which tree do you decide to live from each day, the decision each day. And so it's totally amazing. So my evening kicked off like that and ended in with a great dinner with squash and turkey meatballs, squash spaghetti with turkey meatballs with Alfredo and some broccoli. It was absolutely amazing.
Did you make it, John?
I did not. My friend made it for me.
Let me say this, because first of all, what y'all don't know is John Schultz is a beast in the kitchen. So let me just say that. I got excited because I got excited. But to watch John in the kitchen is a whole nother piece of work. John gets excited. It's like he dances when he cooks, or if he's mixing something. Like, the boy is he's a bad dude. So no, that sounded good, John. That's spaghetti.
It was absolutely amazing with some sun-dried tomato. It was good. It was good. I'm thankful. I'm branching out back to my menus after being in such a restricted, stringent part of what I was doing in my lifestyle. Now I'm branching out. Now I actually living back on scale because I know what reacts to my body and doesn't react. That's the empowerment of what I was going to do. Is not a restriction for your life where you got to do the same thing all the time. It's about now incorporating your daily living. I had ice cream last week on Saturday, man. So, and I probably won't have ice cream again till December because it did what it was supposed to do. I mean, right. It literally. and I was like, not really missing it. I was a little disappointed because I had my little toe dance going while I was staying in line doing the two-step dance, and when I got it, I was like, "This is good, but it's not what it used to be." So it'll be like December again or something like that. But I just love the point that I can look at it I can enjoy it, but it does no longer have hold of me. So that's the beauty of it. That
Ooh,
hustle,
come
that's
on.
gonna be nice. That hustle versus work business. I do have one point note that every time I listen to the song, and I was listening to it, that's why I was a little bit behind getting on. When the saints go to worship, every time I listen to that song now, Savon is etched into my memory forever. The way he interpreted that dance, James would tell you, I cry every time because he encaptured what God was saying when he dances that. And so I've been listening to it every morning for the past month now. And I just see him dancing. And he is literally pouring the Holy Spirit on earth. And man, it's amazing when I see that dance. And with that being said, go and buy that DVD from the boys.
I was trying to figure out where that came in from, Christine, and where it was going. I just knew there was a message here. John.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It came out yesterday, and the whole dance family went crazy watching it again. But yeah, there is an excerpt of that particular dance on our Dancing for His Glory studio page. You can go to my page and then click on the link, and then it'll take you over to our studio page.
Please
Just
put it
saying.
in the chat. Please.
I'll put it in the chat.
Watching that dance, it's funny because when we watched it live online, we were so sad. We were moving, and it was the week before we moved to Panama. We were in Atlanta, and we watched that live. And I'm telling you right now, I felt like I was in the building. And so I wasn't physically there, but if what I saw live,
if you watch it on the DVD, you watch it on the link.
Put it in the chat. I got to get the DVD, and then I got to get the DVD player.
Watch it in the link, coach. Watch it again. And Christine would tell you, I watched it again, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, you there, and you're like, yeah. I watched it again. The same goosebumps came. Like, I'm like, dang, Lord, have mercy. That boy is anointed. That young man is a gift from the Lord. LORD.
With a T on the end. Help me. Listen, because everybody doesn't know what we're talking about. Do me a huge favor. I'm sure Christine, if she hasn't already, she's going to drop it in the chat and the link and the good stuff. And so you'll understand all of what's got John hyped. Aside from food, losing weight, getting focused, losing the way to life. We got so much to be thankful for, y'all. I'm telling you right now. If you're feeling grateful this morning, put me in the chat. If you're feeling thankful this morning, put me in the chat. If you're feeling like you got one more shot, Alicia Caldwell is in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So, guys, today I want to talk about some things before we go to We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast, that was just really kind of etched in my mind this morning. I was getting coffee, and I saw a Instagram reel of an interview between Charlamagne Tha God and Bishop T.D. Jakes. And he talked about, the caption said, most people don't have a business, they have a hustle. And that intrigued me because we were just talking about some things relative to that yesterday here on the show. And I said, you know what, let me take a listen. So I listened to it, and the perspective that Bishop Jakes was talking about was just phenomenal in the respect that he characterized a hustle with you having to put your hands on everything. And he went into it, Jakes. I love how he put stories together. He said, but you cooking the fish, you catching the fish, you cooking the fish, you're frying the fish, you're selling the fish, and you're doing the taxes at the same time. Like, that's a hustle. And if you know anything about his past, he's had a number of businesses long before he became who we know as the Bishop T.D. Jakes, the Potter's House, long before all of that. And I followed his career way back then. And so I was familiar, and I said, oh, no, this man has got a point, because he was that guy. He was that guy. I'm going to preach the message. I'm going to open the church first thing in the morning. I'm going to greet the visitors. I'm going to play the music. I'm going to sing. And then I'm going to preach. And then I'm going to pray over the people. And then after they go, I'm going to shake their hands as they're leaving. And then I'm going to go to dinner with the people after. Like, that is the definition of hustling from a spiritual standpoint. It's the same principle. You're doing everything. Here's what we've learned. That's not sustainable. That's why most businesses, quote, businesses fail, because they're not built to sustain themselves. That's one of the first things that we learn. And that's why I'm super excited about Bootstrap and Redefine, because we're going to get a group of leaders who have built something that's sustaining itself. And I think about Bob Mackey. Somebody randomly ping Bob into the room and see if he's available. I would love to have him just chime in just to see if he's available. But when I think about Bob went on Shark Tank having rose to the levels of an executive position in the Boys and Girls Club in Georgia. I mean, he was running major. I mean, he was like a regional director, the vice president of something. But he went on Shark Tank because of a thing that he was building in his garage, he and his partner. They won Shark Tank. All right. They attracted Damon John as a mentor and an investor in the Yono clip, right? Everybody needs the Yono. Y'all may remember that. And what was crazy was it wasn't about making more Yono clips. It was about getting to the place where he could fund what he really wanted to do, and that's make films. He's a filmmaker, and he's doing an incredible job at it because he understood what it looked like to begin building something that would sustain itself. So the question of the day is this, simple. Do you have a hustle? Or do you have a business? And the way you define a hustle is you have to put your hands on everything. If you are doing a hustle, ain't nobody mad at you, because without hustling, Jakes would not have become who he is today. Let's get that very, very clear, right? However, there had to be a time where he came in and said, the thing that you're doing, Jethro, talking to Moses, is not good. You cannot talk and help all the people by yourself, for all my spiritual people in the room. He had to listen to his father-in-law say, listen, bro, you can't do this and still stay sane and grow this thing. So let's go around the room. Do you have a business or do you have a hustle? And if you have a hustle, how are you putting together the plan for it to be a legit business? Rocky's got her hand up. Come on, Rock.
Good morning again. First of all, both of them, BOFFUN.
I love it.
Right now, my business is a hustle because it's not automated per se. I am building out my team, so I'm getting there. However, my business will be a business, and my other side things will be my hustles as passive income. And the only reason that is the case is because when it comes to my merchandise business and brand, I have to be active in doing the listings, picking out the clothes, doing the marketing, etc. But my social media management business, when I build it out, I absolutely will have people working underneath me. I'm setting up my intake processes. I'm going to send them the SOPs. Once I get one VA trained, she's going to be the master VA, and she's going to train every other VA on the team. And then that way I can keep my hands completely off and then just be the manager, so that way it can be a business. So right now we hustling up until we get it into business. And I'll pass it back to you, Coach.
Listen, it's the transparency for me. It's the vulnerability for me. It's the plan. It's the strategy. And we learned a couple of weeks ago, there's a difference between strategy and tactics. A lot of us are getting caught up with the tactics, the things you need to do versus the strategy, the plan you need to make. Ooh, Rocky, that's good. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Come on, Christine.
Yeah, definitely. The studio was a hustle when I first started. I was teaching all the classes and didn't even have that many classes. I only had 3, but I was teaching all 3 of them. I was the only instructor I did not hire. But when I began to hire and have a brick and mortar and the whole 9, and then finally getting my systems in place, I think Shanika put it in there, and I got my back office straight, where I could leave the country and my business still ran. long before that, it definitely was a business, but that kind of solidified. Yeah, I have a whole staff and they're running things for me without me actually being present. But in making money, people that have hustles, you can make money in your sleep as well. You can have those systems that kind of, they automate themselves. But when you realize, like yesterday, as I was saying, I'm at the studio, I'm, cleaning up, putting up some new ballet bars, getting some things straight, kind of, putting my little pizzazz on it. I love being in that space. And while I was there, phone was ringing, answered the phone. I could have let it go to voicemail and it would have directed them to our website and they could have gone through that process. But I said, nope, I'm going to answer the phone. So I answered the phone. And then I had people just walk in off the street. Hey, been looking at your studio, been walking past, or so and so's daughter is here and she sent me by. I just wanted to see if you guys were open today. I wanted to put a face to a name, blah, blah, blah. And enrolled 6 kids in a matter of 45 minutes, 300 a pop. Put them in the system. And one young lady, because they came in at the same time, one was on the laptop signing up, and one was talking to me and signing up. And so, yeah, definitely turn into a business, but I definitely did not knock the hustle. I did not knock, and that's the thing that we have to understand. When it is a hustle, you don't knock the process of the hustle that becomes a business. Because if you have to begin to transition your mindset, though, when you're looking at it as a hustle, when it starts as a hustle, especially if you still have your 9 to 5 and you're moving through it and you're realizing, oh, this is getting some traction. This is not just something I do when I feel like it. This is something that is becoming consistent. And when that happens, your brain, your mind must begin to transition from the hustle mindset, because there's a transition, to that business woman or business person mindset in order to make that transition smoothly. That's when you go hire a coach. I'll yield.
John Schultz is clipping it up feverishly. John, come on, chime in on this subject, bro. I know you've been there. Come on, talk to me.
Well, I love it. I'm going to use both of them as BOF, possibly EM as well. But I'm in the business where things are running, the operators are doing what they need to do in the franchise, and I love it. But like,
I think you dropped out, John.
I apologize.
You back. I can hear you now.
Hold on. Jesus. The song jumped off my Apple Play, right? Until Savon's right. Anyway. So but my part, I love the hustle part of closing, but I love the business part of not operating. I hope that makes sense. I don't like being on the truck every day. So I'm not on there every day. So I built it to be on there when I want on being there. So when that means I want to be on there, if I have James Green on the schedule, that means we're both on there. And the reason why we do that, because we plan our other business while we're on the truck together. That's our business meeting. Other than that, we have key operators to run that. And Christine, I go to the school or the business the first time before I turn it over to the operator. So we have 3 new schools. James and I will do the schools the first time, and then we'll turn it over, and then we'll be back into the office working on KBCN. So I love both sides of it, but I live in the business, but I enjoy the hustle.
John, one of the things I love about what you just said, and you are turning the complexion of this a little different. Rocky kind of started it, Cherie. A lot of times when business owners, or, and we're defining them as just people who do a thing, you are really passionate about the thing you do. You absolutely love it. It's not work to you. For me to sit down and talk to somebody about relationships and how to navigate it and how to communicate and how to resolve conflict, I live for that stuff. Like, I could sit and help people work on and give them strategy for working on their marriage and their parenting until Jesus comes, like all day, every day. What's not sustainable is the physical doing that. So for us, we created a group coaching community almost 7 years ago. Like in January, they'll be 7 years old. And we created a system where I don't necessarily have to show up, but boy, do I enjoy it. And I think that the challenge becomes when you enjoy it so much that you're not willing to release it to other people, Christine. I think about when Christine says, and I need y'all to hear past the money. I signed up 6 people in 45 minutes. I need you to think 6 lives. I need you to think 6 families. I need you to think the impact on 6 communities. That's what she signed up. And what I know about Christine is she's very, very intentional about leading those babies in a way, because she doesn't have the dance studio that does the competitions and all. She's about technique. She's about transformation. She's about fundamentals. She's about an experience. These babies stay with her. If they come at 3, it's nothing for them to age out with her at 18 or whatever, and then come back and become instructors because they have won dance scholarships to go to college. That's how long she's been doing this. So when you think about that, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that, that's hard to let go and let somebody else. So even while you're putting your little panache or on the studio, your little flair, you're hearing a phone ring, and in your mind, you're thinking they're going to connect to an automated system. And I want to jump in and help navigate their experience, right? And you set up the automation on purpose so that you don't have to, but when you can, boy, do you love to. I think that dynamic, guys, and y'all do me a favor, chime in and let me know what your thoughts on this. I think that's the dynamic that gets us caught up a lot often, because quite frankly, there's this yin and yang. Like John enjoys serving people. Sheree, you got something on that real quick?
Yeah, I just want to add, it's interesting that you went in that direction just because, okay, so when you start off with a hustle, yes, you're all in it. You're doing everything. When you transition from it being a hustle per se to a business, you do put systems in place. You have, you may have other people doing other tasks, but that does not mean that you don't get to still be in the business. It does not mean that, because it's your business, you still want your touch on it. You still want your spirit on the business. You still want to have some interaction in the business. It's not pulling back so far that you're no longer visible in the business. And I think that, sometimes we think of, like, if you think about major corporations, like who knows who owns Pepsi? I don't know. I've never met Mr. Pepsi. I don't know if it is a Mr. Pepsi, but whoever it is. But these major corporations, whoever the owner is or whoever founded it, at some point they kind of dissipate because they have so many systems in place. You don't get to meet that person. But I think that for most of us, our business are still in the phase, in the stages where we can still have a hands-on approach. We can still, engage with our clients. And I think that, especially for people that started off with a hustle, I think that's a part that you do desire to still have, because you started, and most of us, we started this out of, it was a passion project initially. It was something you were passionate about. So you don't want to put in so many systems, so many things in place that you don't get to still be a part of that you want to still engage in it. I know, like for us with the Relationship Academy, that's my heart. That's my baby. I'm going to always have a hand in that. I started off, handling got all the systems and everything in place. I've handed a lot of that off to other people because I don't really deal with that part anymore. But the coaching part, I'm always going to do that part. Now, I don't do it all the time. I do relinquish control and allow other people to come in to assist us. But I'm still going to tap in every now and then, just be like, so where are, just to be able to touch our people, because I think
like
that,
night.
Right.
Jesus.
I always want to still touch our people, because for me, what we do, it's that connection is important. And so just because you go from hustle to business doesn't mean you have to remove yourself completely. And I want to make sure that people understand that you still get to be in your business, but having systems is going to help the business to grow and operate more effectively.
Listen, I see John clipping it up. Let me reset real quick, John.
Hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Hey, listen, guys, it's 6:37, 37 minutes after 6 o'clock. If you're here, welcome. Good to have everybody in the room. I'm experiencing some technical challenges with being able to share the room. I don't know if that's just me, but if you can, do me a favor. If you're on the Clubhouse application, hit that square at the bottom. We're getting ready to transition here in about 20 minutes to a We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. My girl, Alicia Caldwell, is in the building, and I want to get the word out that she's here. She's an amazing human being, an amazing coach that's helping people really, really get back to what's most important, particularly surrounding things relative to your mental health and all of that, prioritizing yourself. I think that her story is going to really bless some people. So let's make sure that we get that shared out. The other thing that I want to do is I want to reset and help people understand that we're kind of talking about the idea of are you hustling or are you doing business, right? Are you hustling or are you doing business? And the way we're defining hustle is you have your hands in everything. We have kind of coined this as and made it sexy that I am a solopreneur. I think the challenge is that when you get to the place to where that's where it started and that's where it's ending, but you have aspirations for it to go further, there has to be something that you do to create a business out of that hustle. And that looks like something. John, you are clipping it up. Come on, talk to me, bro. What you got on it?
Yeah, so I love that perspective as well that Tree gave. And so I will never not be a hustler. I will never not be, because I'm a hustler from two and through. But here's the thing: the medications, the me time, the balance is through the automation and the systems. That's what allows me to break. And so that allows my hustle to become a business so I can break. And so there are times when the phone rings, I want to answer, and there are times when I don't. Either one is fine. If I don't, it goes to my Google Voice. They leave a message, and then I call them back within my 24-hour period. So they still don't get left hanging. They still can get their information. They still get their appointments. But it's the point of closing for me. I love the close on my packages. They might be calling for a birthday package, and then I get to go into my call. Hey, so how many people you looking to serve? Oh, we're looking to have what? Well, what do you have? Well, I have many packages, but tell me, what do you want to do in your? Now I'm in. I am in my charades. I'm in my animation. I'm in my. Let me see if I can close them. How fast I can close them. I'm in upselling. How about this? What would it look like if we did this? When they just call for 30 cups, they end up with a $250 package. It's going to bless them, but it's that adrenaline that allows me to go, coach. I like Shereen. Y'all touching the people in the coaching match. It's an adrenaline rush. It's like, man, let me see if I can still do this. Let me still see if I know my product. Let me still see if I'm excited about it. I get back in the truck to make sure that I still like what I'm doing. When I get in that truck and I see them smile, I'm like, this is the reason why I did this. This is the reason why. It ain't the money. It's these smiles right here. It's a smile that says, my son wanted this for his birthday. Everything else could have failed, but Kona Ice had to be there. And time again, I love that response. So I'm in it for the whole thing. My hustle brings adrenaline, brother. My hustle brings adrenaline.
I see you, Rocky. Now I'm laughing because I'm with you, man. Come on, Rock. Where you at?
No, I was gonna say I'm with John. I don't think Selena is a bad thing. I think you have to gauge it, and all of this is a matter of opinion and who said. But anyway, when we got into hustle culture, when we look at the definition of hustle culture, I think what you need to think about is your work dominating your time. If your work becomes all of you and you have no time, and again, I learned this in the mompreneur experience, I was hustling then because I didn't schedule time for myself. I didn't schedule time to do anything else. So when you get into, I don't think is my business a hustle or is my business a business? I think it's is the hustle taking away from my time and that's all I'm doing? Like my job became my life. That's the hustle part. So whether everybody has a business. They called it a quote unquote side hustle because we had to get to the bag fast. And these are side jobs. Like I've heard it that way. We get a million and one different definitions of hustle. But the big question is your work dominating your time? And I think that's what we need to talk about.
Ooh, let's pick it up right there. Christine?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to actually chime in on that part there where that hustle mentality, it okay, let me just say in the DMV, it has a really negative connotation because it was like you are hustling, you're slinging something just to get the bag. You're trying to hurry up and get this money. Whereas when you are hustling as your side hustle and you're just trying to get the money, but it's when the hustle turns into a passion. Because when we were growing up, it was we're hustling, we're trying to make something happen because we're desperate, because we need the funds, we need to add additional income into our, into our homes. That was the hustle. But then when it turned into the passion was, I actually love what I'm doing. Yes, I'm going to make some money outside, during the process, but I love what I'm doing. So the hustle turned into the passion. The passion is what fueled my business and what made my business grow and flourish. Do I still have that hustle inside of me? I absolutely do. Because I'm constantly growing. The hustle allows your business to keep growing. When you kind of move away from the hustle and it becomes 100% automated, then it becomes distant from you. It becomes, that's just something over there. We can even call it passive income, if you will, if you want to go there. But when your passion comes from the hustle and the passion turns into the business, that's when it's really, really thriving. Yeah, the hustle's going to always be there. It has to always be there to keep your business growing. I'll yield.
Oh, Christine, here's one of the things that I absolutely embrace. And I appreciate what Rocky said, because I think that this is about your priority. See, I know that there are people that don't value their time. It's not a priority to them. So for them to be married to the business is their life. That is life for them. If you separate them from that, they die. Because that is how their priority lists work. I'm not here to judge that. That's none of my business. But when your priorities begin to shift and all of a sudden it matters. I was watching Busta Rhymes in an interview with Ebro, and he was crying, big crocodile tears. And he said, I'm getting these flowers, this Lifetime Achievement Award, celebrating 50 years of hip hop and all of that. And the biggest night of my life, all of my children are there except one. He talked about the experience of having them the whole weekend. He said, he's got four, and he said this, he said, I got 4 baby mamas, I got 6 kids. I've never seen all of them under one roof, and I've certainly never had them all over on a night, just them and me. I've never experienced that until now. He said, the older I get, the more I realize that there were moments that I missed that I can never get back, and I regret that. He said, but at the same time, I also realize, and I'm damned if I do or I'm damned if I don't, because if I didn't go after the bag and do what needed to be done, now I'm a deadbeat. I'm using his words. He said, but I got the bag and now I wasn't there. He said, so now when my son, who I missed he went back to an award that he won, I think it may have been a Grammy. He said, when I got that award that night, I missed my son's high school graduation. I came back, my son was super sad. I threw him a huge party. He loved the party, but he was awfully sad that I wasn't there. I think that the older you get, when your priorities change, it begins to beg, like, could I have done this differently? It is with that wisdom that I want to pass along options to people, because I believe that there are ways that you can have both, and they just generally don't come at the same time. Let me help you understand. 90-10 is balance. 80-20 is balance. 70-30 equals 100 all day long. And a lot of times when we think of balance, we think 50-50, everything's gonna be, and I don't believe that that's true. I believe there are seasons where you gotta go get it. And if you don't, it won't happen, because ain't nobody gonna care about your thing more than you. However, if that season continues for the rest of your life, that's when it begins to dominate your time. And to me, the older I get, the more I realize how it stole from me. And then when I look up, the thing that I created don't love me back. It does not, it's not showing up at my bedside when I'm sick. You get what I'm saying? So I just think that I want to be a part of a culture that shares that it's possible to do both, and if you plan it that way. But I think that what you said, Christine, is so huge. We didn't see it like that. Like literally, if you listen to Biggie's stuff, he was outside hustling to feed his daughter, right? So no, selling drugs is illegal. It's not right. I get it. But the premise behind it is what led him to become the artist that we all know and love. So the point I'm making is, guys, this is not about demonizing one and preferring the other. This is how do both exist in the same space, because I think they both have a purpose, quite frankly. I think they both have an absolute purpose. And what John said is that you let that hustle die if you want to. Now at this particular point, so does the new business. I listen.
Hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
It's 6:49, 49 minutes after 6 o'clock. Alicia Caldwell has made it up on stage. Super excited to have her in the community. We're going to be switching gears in a little bit and interviewing her on We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. So we're going to wait for her to get all our technical stuff squared away. And but I'm excited about this subject. In the chats, let's go to them a little bit and let's see what y'all are talking about. Dominique said, I saw the interview when he said that. Lanita says, good morning, everybody. Good morning from Montgomery, Alabama. Hey, Zipporah. Zipporah said the hustle mentality is exactly what I'm trying to get my workers out of. Just because I have a vending business, people tend to treat it as a hustle and not as a real business. And Zipporah, one of the things that I know as leaders, it's definitely our job to change that narrative, because she's going back to the negative stuff, Christine, that you talked about. Like you're slinging, in this case, candy or, or whatever's in the vending machine, right? And so it doesn't quite matter. And she's like, nah, it does. This is a business. It's sustaining lives. It's helping me to feed my family and all the things. And I need you to treat it right. Let's talk about that a little bit. Training people to treat your business like a business and not like something. For those of you guys that have teams, is that hard? Is that something that you challenge with? Is that something, Christine, you got your finger on your mouth and then Rocky's clipping up. She beat you to the punch, Rock. Come on, Christine.
Man, that's a whole nother conversation. First of all, you think about when you start your business or when it was a hustle and it became a business, whatever. If you start your hustle, let's go there. And your family, we always think people that are in our lives are supposed to support us, but that's not true. That's a whole myth. That's a different topic. However, you have that thought process like, man, what is it going to take for them to believe me? What is it going to take for them to believe that, nope, I don't have a 9-to-5. I have a business and it is sustaining me. And they are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're always waiting for you to close your doors or turn your website off or your Shopify, whatever the case may be, or, for you to stop opening your trunk if you got bags or if you're hustling CDs. You remember those days, mixtapes in the trunks, all of those things. And so it's a challenge trying to get people to understand that it is a real business, or it is going to be a business at some point, until you realize that they are not your target client. That's the key, Coach, because you taught me that you are not in the business of trying to convince everyone what you're doing is real. You only have to convince your target client. And once you figure out who your target client and your target audience are, once you figure out who they are, it becomes easier. At least it did for me, because I stopped trying to convince the world, because that's not who my client is. And once I figured out who it was, it became that much easier. And yep, I threw the shade on family. I threw the shade on friends because I needed them to understand it is not you that sustains me anyway. How you?
Rocky was clipping it up before you, John. I would be remiss if I don't jump over and get Goldilocks. Come on through, girl.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Frank Jr. this morning.
Uh-oh.
I'll be Frank Jr., Christine. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. All day.
Number one, you need to ask yourself, why do you care? Everything that Christine asked, and why do you care? Number two, you only have that need for support because you have a business insecurity. You aren't even too sure about your business. Because one thing that I know, when I was secure in my marketing agency and my business, I didn't care what anybody said because I was secure in my business. So things only hurt us when there is some truth that we accept. So when someone doesn't support you, it's because you aren't even supporting yourself mentally in your business. You need to not care because you are the one that took this step and they did not. And I'll pass it back to you, Coach.
John, it's your turn. I love it.
Jim said, here's the thing. You said, what about the people who don't treat your business like it's yours, right? Here's the thing. James and I know we have a guy in both our business, KBCN and Kona, that we have asked, and he asked, could they be a part of it? Yes. Well, Coach, he missed a gig, a Kona gig, at one of my new schools. And I called him and I said, hey, just wanted to know, what's your ETA? The school's coming. He said, I'm not there. I'm at home. Yeah. On my new school, on open house night, which I locked the school in for the year. And I couldn't be at all of them, Christine, because it was open house for all the schools, and I had 2 more new ones. I sent him to the lesser one because I know the person. Me, Christine, what, you didn't send me a reminder. But you did it on the calendar. Here's the thing where we talked about business reputation and impact. Because of my business reputation and impact, I immediately called in email, apologized, accepted the responsibility, granted them a free night, and now I have the school. And it's only because of my business reputation. The lady said, this is nothing like you. In the 5 years, we never seen the reason I want. And I was just saying to myself, and it was so nonchalant for the gentleman who missed it. Oh, my bad. My bad. That's $10,000 for the year you just almost blew. No. And so now they call both of us and say, hey, did I do something wrong? Nope, you didn't do anything wrong. We just made a decision. You'll no longer be helping us in either side of the business because you have not valued it. And so that's why I don't just bring people to bring them. I bring people who desire to be business owners, and so they get a taste of it so they can decide if they want to go into business for themselves. I'm done.
See, John, that's the part right there. And this is where I take responsibility as a business owner. And the way I back out of that is, you know what? I made a huge mistake. Clearly, I believe that you were somebody else and I made a bad decision, right? Because clearly this person isn't the target client for you to hire to be a part of your team. And I think that, and we don't have time to unpack this, but there's a reason why Disney gets away with being able to hire somebody to wear a costume in 100-degree weather and they're making minimum wage, or they don't make huge salaries, whatever the number is, don't come for me. The point I'm making is that they're hiring enthusiasts. They're hiring people that would do that for free. They're hiring a person, and they have done such a great job of looking for those kinds of people. I remember this happening when I was driving a school bus. I used to tell people, this is not about the money. Gwinnett County, y'all are looking for the wrong people. You're looking for drivers. That's your problem. I can find me a driver a dime a dozen. And if I do, they're going to be complaining about how much money they make or not. But are you looking for people who love children? Are you looking for that you can train to drive? Because if you are looking for the enthusiast, the person that cares about that child's experience, oh my gosh, you've hit a gold mine. That's how you can hire an author who is also a youth pastor to drive your school bus. I didn't take this job because of the money. I took this job because of the experience that I wanted to create and build an opportunity for myself to be able to connect with students outside of the church world so that I could leverage that opportunity in terms of where I was going next. That was a strategic move for me. It turned out really well. I wrote a book called Managing Students Through Relationships, Not Rules. And that book has sold thousands upon thousands of copies. And I've had all kinds of schools book me to come in and speak and do staff development trainings with their staff on how to do exactly that. How do I manage these students who are not my children? You do it through relationships. You don't do it through rules. And when they understood those 7 key principles in that book, changed the game, made me a lot of money. And I promise you, Gwinnett County got the right one. That's why they were sad when I left. Oh, by the way, it's also why they hired me to be a consultant and come back every year for 8 years and pay me. When people hear me talk about getting paid 5 figures to talk, that would be the client. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So, and I'm leaving it there on purpose, John, because I think that what we are oftentimes, and it's not our fault in one sense. We've been culturalized to believe this, y'all. But I believe that the minute, and Christine, you said this early on, the minute you decide, oh, this is bigger than a hustle, this thing right here, this could change some lives for good. You have an obligation to build around you the possibility of that actually happening. And that's why I love when Rocky said, no, it's both and, coach, with the F. It's both, because she's literally building something. When I think about what Rocky's doing, oh my God, every charter school in America should come through her consulting program of some, and literally, because of what she's doing with you, Christine, in terms of STEM and doing that virtually, oh my God, that's transformative. That's a sustainable business. I need y'all to hear this. It's 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock where some of you guys are on the East Coast. But I'm excited. We get ready to switch gears. My girl is in the building. This has been a long time coming. And I don't mean to embarrass you, Alicia, but every time you show up, my heart smiles. It's your aura. It's how you present yourself. It's your story. And we're going to switch gears to let people in on all that warmth, because it came through a lot of pain. And what you do on stages now, girl, I can't tell you how proud I am when I see you in front of people, because I remember when that was a mere dream of yours and you wanted to get outside of the spaces that you were in and do this on a grander stage. And you're still in the building process of that. But to watch you step out and show up, child, it's a whole thing. Listen, she look.
Every day I'm hustling.
She over there, y'all. That's my girl. Alicia Caldwell is in the building. She's on stage. Let's try and get your tech worked out. Let's do this real quick. Just come on off mute on the TV and keep yourself muted on Clubhouse. And let's see how this stuff works. Great morning. How are you?
Doing well. And I don't know why the butterflies are in my stomach this morning. I said, you know what? I am on all these stages, but being in front of you all is such a high honor that I've been having butterflies all morning, but I'm here.
Listen. Y'all got to understand, Alicia came around when we first came on Clubhouse. I mean, Alicia, it's been almost 3 years, man. Like, can you believe that? And we've been doing this every day. And so much has evolved out of this. And we got some announcements that we're going to be making as we move closer to Bootstrapping Redefined. This room has, and let me just characterize this way, and we're going to switch gears, I promise y'all. When I came onto this application, first of all, I felt like I was forced because I didn't want to come on Clubhouse at all. I just felt like it was another thing, and I didn't need another thing in my life. And Monty Weaver, I will never forget saying, Coach, I don't care what you say, man. This application was built with you in mind. I'm like, that sounds a little out there. So I jumped on, and then it dawned on me. It was like heaven opened up. No, God laid it on these jokers' heart to create an application in the middle of a pandemic that would, listen to this, create intimacy at scale. I was like, help me, Jesus.
Help me.
Listen, they said, what? When I heard that come out of the creator's mouth, that we created this platform so that we could scale intimacy, I thought to myself, now, Jesus, that's a mission. Because that was who I was. We were in the pandemic. Things were shut down. Nobody was coming outside. And quite frankly, as a flamingo temperament, I was like, yo, I want to go out and play. Like, I'm tired of being in this house by myself. This is not fun anymore. Couldn't get on stages, couldn't talk to people. And then Clubhouse. And so I got on Clubhouse specifically to really collaborate with people for my own personal growth. And then it evolved, because I saw an opportunity to introduce them to stuff I was already doing. And so you've gotten on some of the trainings I've done, and I've watched you evolve. And so I met you because I was true to mission. I was true to what it was I was, called to do. And as a result, most of the people on this stage, somehow, some way, I've met through some kind of social interaction. I don't meet Christine if it's not for social media. Period. So Gary V, thank you. You said it. Social media is the gateway drug to real relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time. Before we do that, we have to do this. Hey, this is for you, Alicia. It's Wednesday, August 30th. It's 4 minutes after the hour. I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr. We're going to do a quick roll call before we switch gears and we go to We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. If you have not already, can you do me a huge favor, guys? Can you share this out to those that you know that need to get in the room to hear an amazing story of inspiration turned business opportunities that's transforming lives? Shout out to the MMC community. I see you, Renee, in the pole position. Great morning. Good to have you in the building. Karen is here. Dr. Pam Fawcett is here. Terry is here. I see you, Dominic, representing the whole state of Louisiana. By way of Lafayette, Jill Hines is in the building. Grand Rising, man. I see you, Nona. Good to see you in the building today. Always a pleasure when you pull up. Hey, Elaine, it's good to see you. Lanita, my veteran sister, is in the building. Zipporah, I'm proud of you for consistently showing up. I know it's difficult for a bunch of reasons, but every time you show up, it blesses my soul. Mama Schultz is in the building. Grand Rising, Mama Schultz. Always a pleasure. I be feeling like, look, is something going to jump off? Look, my mamas is in the building. When the mothers of the church show up, dog, watch out. I'll make it through. Tessie is in the building. Grand Rising. Can't wait to hug your neck in real life at Bootstrap and Redefine. Tessie is one of our speakers. If you guys haven't signed up and got your virtual ticket, I'm trying to figure out what rock do you live on. Alexis in the building. Alexis, I'm saying it publicly. We got to jump on a call. I'm so freaking proud of you, girl. I don't know what to do with myself. I remember when we strategized and talked about your recent pivot, and you out in these streets killing the game. I want to figure out how we can shine a spotlight on some of the stuff you got happening these days, Alexis. So talk to me. Trey Trevelyan, good to see you, my friend. Keecher representing Detroit. Good to see you in the building. We've got a new person that I don't believe I've had the pleasure. She's a minister, realtor, and author. Unapologetically brave anthology. Minister Shonda, good to see you, sis. It's the smile for me, Minister Shonda. It makes me believe you're a real person. I love you. What's going on? Why, Regina Jones? So good to have you on the MAPS Relationship Academy. A call last night. I appreciate you and Rodney so much. Latondra's in the building. Shout out to the MMC fam, and my mother, my biological mother, Mama Pat, is in the building. Mr. Hurlin's praying for you and your family, man. I know you guys are going through some stuff. God's got you, bro. I see my sister from another mister, known this girl since she was since she was a girl. She's a whole grown woman. Known her since 7th grade. Tammy is in the building. Shout out to my MMC family. You know you're doing something right when your friends let you coach them. And they pay you to do that. I love my life. Takia, it's good to see you. Robert, it's good to see you. Selena, good to see you. Thanks for pulling up in the building today. Lamont, what a do, bro. Hey, man, we swinging them clubs over here, bro. Tam is in the building. Good to see you. Guys, it's 7:07, 7 minutes after the hour. 7:07 here in Panama City, Panama. Sharina, I made this leap 8 weeks ago, y'all. Yesterday, we completed the second part of our, I always want to call it, it's a residency status. It's not citizenship yet. That comes much later if we decide to do that. But it gives you so many opportunities. So we have completed that. At least we've got our temporary card. And Cherie, you want to chime real quick?
I just got to say, I'm Pan-American now.
That girl feeling like you're Pan-American. Boy, when I wear this outfit here, I just feel Pan-American. Listen, I couldn't do nothing with this one yesterday, y'all. We went out and we grabbed lunch at one of our favorite vegan spots here in the city. Ever come to Panama City? You got to go over to San Francisco and check out Green Bar. Just telling you, it's a whole thing. So we're going to switch gears because I could get excited all day. That's not hard for me to do. Let's go ahead and start switching the layout on TV. If you guys have not pulled up on TV, now is your opportunity to do that. I'm getting ready to go ahead and do the live recording of a podcast that we started 80 episodes ago today, y'all. We are dropping our 80th episode today. And Chris Giles, shout out to Black Tie Media, who produces our podcast. I could not do what I do the way I do without Black Tie Media. If you guys are looking for a place or a company to produce your podcast, meaning you just show up and do what you do, and they do everything else. That's what they do. I am not ashamed to say I don't do all the things. Couldn't do it if I tried. Don't want to because I did try. How about that part? So with that being said, I see that we're good, looking good on the recordings. Give me a thumbs up. And if we're good, James, anything, let me go double check that chat real quick, make sure I'm straight. All right. And yep, recordings are ready. James, thank you. Thank you, brother. Y'all see how this works? Teamwork really makes the dream work. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this party started in 3, 2, 1. Well, I'd like to welcome you all back for another edition of We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. Today, I am crazy excited. We're going to have a very organic conversation around an individual who I think is making an incredible impact on families, and she's going to get into the specifics of it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage my new friend, and she's been my new friend for a couple of years, but I'm not on Drake. We got a couch for you, brother. We're praying you get some therapy because I don't know what you mean by this no new friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Alicia Caldwell. It's good to have you, Alicia. Alicia, one of the things that I have to remind people of is that stories are something that are really, really powerful. And when you are bold enough to tell your story, I believe it does two things. One, it sets free the captive. It sets free the person who's held captive by the story that you're sharing because y'all have the same story. And two, it sets you free from the shame of it. And it helps you to be able to show up consistently. And I believe behind every major brand, and again, by major, I mean brands that are impacting people, there's a story behind that. And so I want you to introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Who do you do it for? I remember when you first wrestled with those 4 questions. And today you are killing it on stages around the globe. Come on and talk to us, Alicia. Good to have you on the podcast today.
Oh gosh, what an honor. This when you think of full circle moments, this is one of them. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Like Glenn said, I'm Alicia Caldwell. I'm a mother I'm a wife of 2 beautiful daughters, and I'm a yaya to an amazing grandson. But I'm also a licensed professional counselor of 19 years, a mental fitness coach, and a speaker, and I'm on a mission to change the world one mentally empowered person at a time. And I do this work because I was the work. And those that have followed me and listened to some of my story, they know the origins of the childhood trauma that I experienced when I was very young. They know the story of me witnessing domestic violence. They know the story of my mother struggling with mental illness, my father not being in my life, and the mental and emotional adversity that I struggled with for many years. And as a mental health professional, the shame that I had reaching out for help and getting the help that I needed to heal from my own mental and emotional challenges. So I do this work because I was the woman that I'm speaking to. And the shame, the embarrassment, the delays in my mental and emotional healing, they created a lot of challenges in my life, in my career, and my relationships. And I wanted other women to know that they're not alone, that there are other professional, powerful women who are struggling, but we're too ashamed to say that we're struggling. And so I was working in the capacity of a counselor, and I had with military populations, and I had a lot of women leaders seek me out. These women were achieving at high levels in their careers, but they were struggling mentally and emotionally. And I say they were champions on the outside, but they were broken on the inside. And I noticed this trend over and over and over again of the high levels of stress, the imposter syndrome, and the hesitancy to reach out for help because for fear that it would impact their career. So outside of the counseling office, I wanted women to have a safe space that they can come to and read about mental health and self-care, listen about mental health and self-care, because I know for sure that not everyone is going to go into a counseling office to get the support and the information that they need. So I created Live Like Her. The Her stands for healthy, empowered, and resilient, to speak to the woman and in dedication to the woman that I used to be. But over time, the brand has evolved. Alicia has evolved. So and this is what I know to be my truth, that when I get confident in who I am and what I'm designed to do, the sky's not even the sky is the limit. And so I know sometimes, Glenn, you talk on the on your platforms about the introvert. I'm an introvert, and that don't got nothing to do with confidence. When you're secure in who you are and what you are meant to do, there's no personality type that's going to keep you from it. You will use your voice, you will tell your story, you will build your business, write the book, or whatever you need to do to help yourself and other people to break free from whatever adversity they're facing.
Listen, Alicia, I'm grinning and I'm about to pop over here because you said something, and I want to unpack this in a way that your temperament has nothing to do with confidence. A lot of times temperamentally, whether I'm a DISC certified trainer, and so I work in that space, people will quickly adopt the idea that because I'm introverted, because I may be, quote, shy, that means I lack confidence. That is the furthest thing from the truth. You lacking confidence has nothing to do with your temperament. It has everything to do with your experiences and what was celebrated in your life that caused you to want to do that again. And so when you think about confidence, you think about people who are doing a thing over and over and over again. They become really good at it. No wonder they have confidence. But that's also why you can have a person like, I remember Michael Jackson could perform in one way, but when he came off the stage, he showed up very differently. So he had confidence to own that stage because that's what he did over and over and over again. But doing life in real life with real relationships, he wasn't real confident about that. And it came out in interviews and those kinds of things. I also think that it has to do with a relationship around guilt and shame. I want to back up a little bit and I want to talk about that. And I loved how your intro brought us into the world of some of the stuff you went into without the details. I love that. That was very well crafted. And I must say, as a tactician, that was special, lady. I saw that. But I'm not going to let you speed past some of that stuff because there are people here, particularly high level women, who are performing in such a way that their exploits are giving them accolade that pushes them further, but it's not helping them internally. I think that relationship, guilt versus shame, can we, and this is where I want you to put on your professional hat for me, for the people that are listening, as we think about guilt versus shame. I've always very summed it up this way, and it's certainly a minimalistic way of summing up. You probably could do a much better job of the details. But guilt is what you did, shame is who you are. And that's the way I sum up guilt is something I did. I did a thing, I feel bad. Shame is I did a thing and I am bad. And I think that the shame part of it is the thing that makes us hide. Can you talk to us and unpack sort of, and please feel free to take your liberty with this. Why does guilt versus shame trap so many of us, particularly us high performers?
And I'll speak from a personal and professional lens. So there's a lot of times, and I'll speak from a Black woman's community, okay, where we don't necessarily have the privilege of messing up when we are high performers and when we're in high level positions. The scrutiny is greater, and sometimes the consequences are swifter. So for me, as a high achieving woman, if I messed up in my personal or professional life, the guilt of that thing and the burden of that guilt was heavy for me. And I would linger on that for long periods of time. And in speaking to other women, it was this similar trend. For some reason, we're holding on to that guilt of a thing that we did. We've supposedly moved past it, but we haven't done so. And then that shame of, and I loved how you put it, this is who I am. I'm a screw up. I can't get anything right. And then that's where that cloud and that shadow of over our achievements and our strengths, it starts to skew those things. So I know for me and in my life, the guilt because I've made many mistakes in my life, personally and professionally, but that shame, that was the stain that stuck with me. And it was keeping me from having joy, fulfillment, in my own personal life and in my professional accomplishments. I was achieving at high levels, but I didn't allow myself to celebrate and to enjoy those wins. And for when I would work with women and I would have them to list their strengths versus focus on their struggles, they would have a hard time. They could list the struggles like that, but they would have a difficult time focusing on the strengths and the wins. And sometimes it takes someone outside of ourselves to remind us to watch our own movie. Go back and watch your own movie. What are the highlights? What are the transitions? Because I'm like, we can rewrite the narrative. We can make some edits. We can do something different than what we've seen in the past. And sometimes it's hard for us to get outside of the zone of our own lives and do that. But the guilt, I think that guilt is a normal emotion, right? But it's the stain of shame when that lingers with us far too long, it holds us back from realizing the greatness of who we are, the power, prosperity, and potential, personally and professionally. Because I know for me, I worked really hard for so many years to try to educate my way out of my pain. Right. I tried to earn my way out of the abandonment issues as a result of my father not being in my life. I tried to fake my way out of the harm being done as a result of my mother struggling with her own deeply rooted trauma. But the truth is, we have to really get back to who we are at the core, at the core of our being before we can really transcend the challenges, the adversity that we will always face. We just get better at managing it when we're coming from a lens of a healthy and whole person.
That's so good. If you're just tuning in, this is my friend Alicia Caldwell. She's a licensed professional counselor. She's an author. She's a speaker. She runs an academy for women that really help them embrace, all of the things that she's talking about. And I want to talk steps for a second, Alicia, because I think that a lot of times, when you're dealing with high achievers, they're very self-aware. They're often, I have found, at least in the people that I get to coach, they're aware of their issue, if you will, or issues, if you will, right? What they're not good at is being able to move to that other part of emotional intelligence, and that is the whole self-management piece, and really putting together the things to sort of step their way out of. Can you walk us through just a few things that people need to know if they find themselves in these places where you did a thing, you have nursed it way too long, it has become the stain of shame, and it's owning your life and you hate it, but you really are feeling trapped and not, how do I sort of make the stain go away? My church people say you can pray that away. I beg to differ. I really think, you need a good therapist. You probably need a cup of coffee, and you probably need a laugh, and you need some friends. Like, there are some steps, and I'm making a little light of this, but can you walk us through a little bit about just a few things, and then I want you to really transition into how are you helping people today, and how do people work with you?
Yeah, so I'm going to package it in a similar way that I package it when I'm speaking to audiences, and I package it in the word heal. All right, so here's how I walk high achievers through it. The first thing that we focus on is getting healthy. That's the H of heal. Get healthy in mind, body, spirit, and relationships, and figuring out what that means specifically for you, because we all have a different path that we're traveling. So what does it mean to be mentally healthy for you? What does it mean to be physically healthy for you, right? Spiritually and relationally. And the second part of that is to educate yourself about the areas that you struggle. We're out here doing massively extraordinary things in different areas of life, but sometimes we fail to get educated about the high stress, the childhood trauma, right? The domestic violence, and a variety of other challenges that we face that are harming us internally because we're too busy achieving externally. So educating yourself. Third thing is the A is ask for help. I notice in myself and with other high achievers, we will ask for help for technical things in our lives if we need something. Sometimes we'll even struggle in that area, but we will ask for help about, hey, maybe some physical fitness stuff. But when it comes to asking for help for the mental and emotional struggles that we face, we hesitate to do that, and we end up being in that mental and emotional pain for way too long. So I encourage asking for help. That may be mentally, emotionally, it may be in your business or some other area that can help you in your mental and emotional state. And the L stands for love. And that starts with loving yourself. How can you get to a place where you're loving yourself better than you can expect from anyone else? And when we get to that place, guess what? It actually helps our other relationships. Because when we're showing ourselves kindness, compassion, respect, and know that we are worthy, we're more likely to extend that to other people. So there's this beautiful ripple effect. So it's heal, get healthy in mind, body, spirit, and relationships. Educate yourself about the areas you struggle, ask for help, and love yourself. That's the framework that I have used for years. I didn't really know it was a framework at first. I was just doing it over and over and over and helping high achievers to work through their challenges in very relatable and practical ways. If you listen to me, I don't get super clinical. I want it to be practical, applicable for your life, because sometimes that clinical stuff people will tune out because they're like, look, I'm not crazy. And I'm like, I know that you're human. So let's talk about what that means in the area of mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual and relational health. So that's the framework that I use, and I kind of rinse and repeat that, but I tailor it specifically to the audience or the person that I'm working with.
No, I love it. Guys, you can tell why, she's my friend, and she's a great human being, but she's running a business that's transforming the lives of literally over the years, thousands and thousands of people, and doing it at a very consistent level. Alicia, how can people get up with you? How can they get in touch with you? What are you working on right now? What's the best way for people to work with you?
Yeah, so right now, I am working on building my full-time speaking business. So I have made a huge transition over the last year, stepping out on faith, investing at the highest level that I've ever invested in myself and my business. And I am reaping the benefits of that. But I do know that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And there are some days that, my mental endurance is lagging. But I'm working on my full-time business as a speaker, and that avenue, that branch to connect with me is at aliciacaldwell.org. But I'm also still very much wanting to get back to full-time work, or at least part-time work, with my Live Like Her brand, which is livelikeher.com. So that's my women empowerment side, and the other branch for my speaking is aliciacaldwell.org. On social media, they can connect with me on Instagram at Live Like Her and the number 2, and on Facebook and Instagram, it's at Live Like Her.
Listen, y'all, I'm telling you right now, she's a gem. If you have questions, if you are a person in the audience that want to book Alicia to come speak for your organization, and the reason you know you need her is because you sat there, listened, and said, girl, I need this girl come through for our folks. Like, I got a thing that I'm doing, and I've been looking for the right speaker, and she's it. Well, she's here. I don't think this is an accident. So y'all do me a favor, reach out and connect with her if you need to go through her programs and you want to get to the next level. She's a person that can help you. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for another edition of Will Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. Alicia, can you come back and can we talk again? Because I think that you've got so much more to say. And I'm really interested in the speaking career part of it, because there's a component there that will always lead. And I'm going to encourage you to continue to save space for both. They don't have to have equal space. But one of the things that I learned very quickly, and I didn't want to launch a coaching program particularly. I just wanted to speak. And I just kept finding myself coaching from the stage. And and people, like at my book tables, when I'm signing books, are saying, how can I get more of you? And I used to ponder that, like, more of me, book me to speak again. How can, and then that's when I realized they were pulling on the nurturer in me. There's a nurturer in you that's real. And it will always set you up to add value to people. And I want to see you continue to nurture it both. It might be 80-20 one day, 70-30 one month, 90-10, it all equals 100%. So you keep showing up, lady. Love you, appreciate you, praying for your family. At the end of the day, guys, here's what we know to be true. You can't get to any place of significance by yourself, because we all need some help. And I hope to see you on the next edition of We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. And that's a wrap. Let's get everybody on stage. Minister Shauna said, excellent. Christine is writing HEAL. That acronym is FIRE. HEAL, healthy, get healthy. E is for educate yourself. A is for ask. And L is for love. That was powerful, y'all. Great segment, Cherie. I agree. Anybody got any questions for Alicia? She'll be on stage for a couple of seconds here before we get the show out of the way. And let's figure it out, guys. Let's figure it out. Any takeaways, maybe flowers you want to give anybody on stage, just clip it up. And let's have the conversation. Come on, Christine.
I just wanted to say thank you. Because you are a genuine person. I can hear it in your voice. I've never met you in person, Alicia, but just to hear the genuine, and oftentimes women shy away from seeking help or healing, as you put it, because we don't trust the person that has it for us. And I can tell that because of what you have gone through, because of your life experiences, that you are passionate about helping other women like us heal. So I just wanted to say thank you. My heart is going in different directions at this point, and I'm thinking about some things. I'm going to be giving you a call and wanting to partner with you in some things that I'm working on for my mompreneur experience. So, but I want to thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity to hear your voice, so that we as African American women, and I'm going to be selfish in that because I know you speak to all women, but African American women, we need to heal for real. So thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Sheree, you got something you want to add?
Yes, first want to thank you, Alicia, for coming on and sharing. And, those of you that know me, I've shared my struggles with mental health and how this is a topic that I believe needs to be talked about more. I think that particularly for us as African American women, we have been, we wear this cape that's been given to us by they who we don't know who they are, but we walk around with this cape on that oftentimes prevents us from acknowledging when we're going through struggles, from acknowledging that we need to be healed, and from asking for help. And so I appreciate your approach and how you help women that are high achievers to be able to recognize you're human. There's not necessarily anything wrong with you. You're simply human. And we all have had our own levels of trauma just in living life. And that it's okay to ask for help to be able to heal from that trauma in order to become our best selves. And so I just want to thank you for sharing. I want to thank you for doing the work that you do. And I look forward to hearing more from you.
I love it. I love it. Guys, do me a favor, show some love in the chat, a quick takeaway, maybe some gratitude for Alicia. I think that was a great segment. Alicia, anything that you want to share in closing before we get out of here for the day? I think I might have caught you off guard. She's in the chat. There you go. Come on.
Here, can you hear me?
Mute yourself on TV because I got you in a great place.
Ooh, okay, hold on a second. Am I off there?
Nope.
Can you hear me okay?
I can now. Yeah, it looks like you're good. Come on.
Okay, perfect. No, I was just going to say this was an amazing opportunity. Thank you for giving me just a chance to speak about something that is near and dear to my heart. And I just encourage everyone, whether it's, through a channel with me or someone else that can nurture you and support you on your healing journey, to get connected, whether it's through reading on your own or connecting with a professional who can help you along the journey. But let us win, not only externally, but internally. And that's my greatest hope. So thank you so much, Glenn. And thank you to your team for allowing me to be here.
Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. We say it all the time here, that it really takes all of us coming together. I don't think it's an accident that scripturally you can find it, that the Bible talks about that every joint supplies, right? There's a need. The eye doesn't get to say to the nose, I don't have need of you. Right. The ear doesn't get to say to the mouth, I don't have need of you. We all need it all, and we all need some help. And I just appreciate you guys. I'm going to the chat. Minister Shonda said, Alicia, thank you so much for being transparent. Thanks to the mods as well. You're welcome. Great to have you in the room today. Dr. Pam says, thank you. Keitra says mental health is real. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate those comments. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or maybe LinkedIn, do me a favor, chime in and we'll get to you as well. But this has been a great segment today, y'all. Been a great show all the way around. And so if you're just tuning in, as we wrap up, go back, check out the replay. I think it would be worth your while. Obviously, you can find us on KBCN TV, on their YouTube channel. You can find us on my YouTube channel. And just make sure that you prioritize you today. At the end of the day, here's what I know to be true. You cannot, and I mean you cannot, get to any place of significance by yourself. I believe it's because we all need some help. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday for Tech Thursday. Rocky will be in the building and helping us through our tech journey, particularly as business owners, ministry leaders, entrepreneurs. Let's go. If you haven't picked up your tickets for Bootstrapping Redefined, make sure you do that. The summer blowout sale is still available for the virtual only side. We do have day passes. If you're in the Atlanta metro area and you don't have time for all the hoopla, you just want the meat of it, we've got a special price for you for that. Check out the links wherever you see them, and we'll figure it out, guys. Y'all be good. The room will end when the music does. KBCN, thank you so much. Couldn't do it without y'all. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You better talk about it, John P. Key. Come on now. Listen. Hey. Y'all be good. Oh my God, just when I was trying to get out of here, I got goosebumps on this part right here. That boy said when you show up, he's already there because he shows up on time. What? We sitting around waiting on God to show up. Do you know he never stopped? The question is, where are you, Adam? Listen, you gotta know your Bible to know what I'm talking about. Walk around the garden talking about I was a boy. Where you at? Listen, I'm feeling that all the way down in my shana now. Y'all be good. And this room will be ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Y'all be